Hello everyone and welcome to my real-time tutorial on how I make eyebrows and face-ups. I'm going to be showing the process of 5 different face-ups and just run through some tips and techniques along the way. I always start by outlining the eyebrows because they're the hardest part of a face-up, and once the lines are painted, really it's smooth sailing. I start by making a rough, light sketch of the eyebrows and where I want them on the doll. I do this because eyebrows can be tricky to paint on the same height and be tricky to get looking the same, so with a basic sketch you're helping yourself get them similar. I paint with watercolors when making lines on face-ups, but you can use acrylics with a thinner as well. I prefer watercolors because it's easier to erase any unwanted lines or blobs with a wet Q-tip, and you can see me do this several times during the video. When getting watercolor on my brush, I have a little process that helps me get the consistency of the paint just right. I take the color with the brush, but before I use it to paint on the doll, I always make at least one stroke on paper with it. This helps get rid of excess water and helps make your lines smooth. When painting lines with your brush, another tip is to use the very tip of the brush for smooth lines. Watercolors can sometimes form driplets along the lines if your consistency and brush strokes are a bit off, and this is a great tip because it prevents that. You can see me painting with the tip of the brush this entire video. Once I've done the sketch, I paint the lines with confidence, and I use more color because now I know exactly where I want the lines. Basically, I just fill in the sketch that I've made with more color and with stronger, surer lines. I love to use references when painting eyebrows. You can Google images of eyebrows and just try to mimic the directions of the hairs. Children, for example, have adorable eyebrows as they're very thick and have never been plucked. Once I've made the lines of the eyebrows and I'm happy with them, I do the lining of the eyelids. It's more or less the same technique as with the eyebrows. I also make sketches for eyelids before filling in the color, just to make sure that they're the same. I then paint the eyeliner. Lastly, I paint the lower eyelashes. See me using the tip of the brush to make the very thin strokes? This is the process of when I make eyebrows and face-ups, regardless of which type of eyebrows or face-up I make. Here are some variations of the eyebrows I made for this sculpt. Before I seal the paint for the first time, I always use soft pastels to add color to the lines I made. The watercolor soaks up pastels beautifully before you've sealed it, so I take advantage of that and do some blushing before the spray comes on. Here they all are with the line work and the first blushing done. After this, I seal the paint for the first time. Once the first layer of seal is on, I add more pastels to the face-ups. I add more blush to the cheeks. I usually put darker colors on the edges of the eyebrows. Sometimes I will add more lines or fill in old ones that I want. How you want the colors and where you want them is totally up to you, and you can experiment greatly here. Just go wild. To add white lines to my face-ups around the eyebrows and eyelashes because I think it gives more depth to the painting. So you can try that, it will look beautiful. want to add freckles to the face, I use a wide brush with a lot of watercolor and water on it. I drag my finger along the edge of the brush hairs over the scalp. This sprays tiny droplets of colors that make great natural freckles. I also blush on top of the freckles afterwards just to make the freckles look more authentic. This is more or less the entire process of when I make face ups. After this, I seal the paint, I gloss the lips, and I glue on eyelashes. Here they are all finished, and I think they look gorgeous!